Right, yo. Hello everyone. Right, I want to talk about money and black magic. Money and black magic. So where do we start? Because this is a form of art. Money is a form of art. Everything started from art. So you have the cave paintings that worked its way up and progressed into forms of art. So everything you're looking at in this dimension in this realm is a form of art. Is stemmed off. Yeah, it started from India when they started with the numbers and the art on the human body, on the human instrument, the human instrument. Language is also a form of black magic. But right now, we're going to look at money first. And then we're going to deal with the language and the communications after that. Right now. Because there's a frequency attachment there that is wrong. That is wrong. So, when many people think of money, they attach it to survival, when actually no. You can't eat money. You can't eat money, no. You know, I got very upset yesterday when I spoke to my mum, and she was very excited and happy at the fact that she's going back to work. And I said, what is wrong with you? Why are you happy about the fact that you're going back to work to earn money? Why are you happy about that? You've looked at all this stuff. She's been seeing this stuff with me for the last 3 years. So why are people happy to go back to work? When they've seen all this stuff, because it's an agreement to what's going on down there, and there's much black magic going on around money. Okay, because we're actually at a bit of a war right now with the inner earth, with darker forces, when actually they're not darker forces. They're a piece of art that has been added energy to them. They've added energy to forms of art. And this is how everything functions. So if we change the communications and we swap it into light language and other things like that, you know, there is a universal language that everyone speaks, that even animals can understand, because it's a fluent vibration that's not taught at a desk in a school and programmed into a left brain to shut off half of our brain from actually functioning, because we should have all brain cortexes functioning over and over and over and over, and then we're able to visualise. You know, most of my friends that are schizophrenic or mental health have deep pixel injections that were from here in Canterbury, many schizophrenic people, and it is because of the black magic that is being done in the building right behind this. So what are we going to do about it? Because here there's been much going on, and now I'm going to look at the frequency of money, and I'm going to destroy it and put it into something else. Because right now there's a lot of money in, there's a lot of energy in the money and in sex, and these two frequencies are wrong right now. Well, they're not wrong, but they're wrong in holding a lot of this energy that they're holding, right? Because people eat off of trees. They survive off of trees. People survive off of food from the earth. You know, the higher dimensions. And when I say higher dimensions, let me give you an example of that. Let's look at a symbol for a moment. Any symbol, because anything that is scientific drawing is 1D. So the 1D. So let's have a quick look at a book. I've got one over here. Let's start with British Museum pattern book, Islamic patterns. See these patterns? These are 1D. 1D. These are all 1D. This is the opposite of this, because this is all line drawing black and white. This has, well, it's got white in it, but it hasn't got any black in it. I normally replace it with purple. And then it's just layers and layers of tones of colour. So this is multi-dimensional, and this is 1D. So this is science drawing, cast as a science drawing. Now, you can see how this all fits and connects. It's quite controlled, it's quite, you know, it's geometric, geometry. We're looking at geometry, we talk about geometry. Yeah? So, when we look at these things, and you look how light bounces out of them, Doesn't really, does it? Doesn't really too much, unless you make a 3D model of it, but then it's gone from 1D to 2D to 3D, whereas this actually looks kind of 3D already. They look 3D, but it depends how your eyes and your perception bounces in and out of perceiving a lot of them symbols. You know, I can look in them symbols and see a lot of things. Some people will just see the symbol itself. To others that have added more energy to them is how they decode information. It's forms of communications. So when you look outside at nature, it's very, very complex in dimensions. It's multi-dimensional, and that's what we're consuming. And we are multi-dimensional because we're not 1D, we're 3D. And well, right now we're 3D. We are have multi layers outside this too, yes. But look at the tree bark, for instance, how that bounces light. Because if I sat there and was to draw that, or I sat there to draw a tree, look at the way the tree is bouncing light compared to a symbol. Take like a Chanel symbol, the symbols, you know, that everyone wants to spend loads of money on clothes for because it's designer, because that's a mind loop program again, like the money is. So right now when people are going out and they're going, oh, this and that, they're going to earn money, to buy materialistic stuff that the mind loop has done, the mind control, the mind program is telling them to go and do because they think that's how they survive. So they've switched all of our brains within the human instrument of how we go into realms, how we feel, how we see, all the 5 senses, you know, everything that I was doing in my mental interactions in the show we did in Covent Garden in 2015 with all my schizophrenic friends there who are all artists, who are some of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. Yet they're on Depixer injections and they're really struggling because we are a threat to these people who really do run the earth. And they run it through the 1D, is what they're doing. And so we're going to look at this right now, and money is also a form of that. Now, can you eat money now? What worth is money if you take away its energy attachment? What could you do with it? If I melt it, it's bad for the sky. If I rip it in half and leave it in the ground, you know, it doesn't really want to degrade it. The earth doesn't want it at all. Actually, it's nothing really the earth wants here at all, so we need to get rid of it because it's a separation. And money is black magic. So any of you that are going out and earning money right now, after you've watched this video, after you've done this, yes, okay, people need it right now, they do need it. But just know that you are adding to a form of black magic, or you're under a form of black magic. Because I don't use money. Yes, I'm here now, but I survive off of this. This is what I survive off. When I went out in Cambodia, I lived off of this. I got free food, accommodation, everything like that, and I worked hard, and I've worked hard my whole life doing this because it's what I enjoy, and it's what I stand up for, and it's what I love. And it's a part of the earth because I use the earth's minerals when I'm doing it. Yes, I'm trying to decode them and upgrade them. Yes, we need to get rid of iron and look at the frequency of iron. But first, actually, we need to get rid of some other mind loops that are stuck in the way. The barriers, and money is a huge one. We survive off of trees. Money destroys trees. Money's destroying your survival, your biology. So anyone that wants to go and make money and think money makes them happy, just know that you're adding to a network and a form of black magic, or it's being cast over you. So how are we going to get rid of it? Well, we need to perceive it in a different way, or use it to pull out of it. You know, I was actually ready to be homeless because I saw what was going on in the world. I was ready to go and be homeless, to live in the woods. I was going to do that. When I was at my mum's before I started making these videos, I was trying to live homeless in the woods because I didn't want to live in a world of money and all this magic, this black magic that they do on it. Because look where it is, look where it's infiltrated, look where it flows, look at its currency, and look how much control it has. No matter what form it is, no matter if it's a dollar, this or that, it still has the same energy attachment to it. And that's what I'm going to be breaking at the moment. Yes, because, you know, if I got money now and I did something to it, which I am going to do, by the way, and you rip it up or you burn it, what would you do right now if I got some money right now and I ripped it up and did something to it? What would your brain do? It would go, oh, I can't do that to money. Well, yes, I can do that to money, and this is what we need to be destroying and getting rid of all these like attachments with it, because it's connected to the deep subconscious. So I'm going to be working on that frequency now. I'm going to attach, you know, to the hunger of money and I'm going to transmute that frequency, and I'm going to spit it back into the deep subconscious where we're all connected, and I'm going to connect you all to it. Because that's the only energy that it's worth. Apart from that, it's worthless. It is worthless. If you've got a billionaire right now and you printed out every single note within his bank account and you put him on a desert island with stacks and stacks of it, he wouldn't even want to wipe his arse with it. And this is what we're looking at. You know, people wanting to go back. Why is my mum excited to go back to work? Oh, I need to earn money, I need to pay for Oscar. Get this. So I live in an area of quite a lot of land up there, yeah? And I've got horses all around me, blah, blah, blah. Just before I left, I had to leave because my mum and a partner were trying to fight over who could cut what section of the lawn to give each other things to do, because they can't sit and go within right now because they've been working too much all the time. So, you know, they're like struggling to do stuff and go within and that. And then I said to her, like, there's horses like a few fields down with no grass. They're standing in mud and people are feeding them hay. So to do hay, you have to grow it. You know, you've got farmers with time, with tractors, cutting it hay, leaving the hay there for the winter. When actually, there's shitloads of grass everywhere. There's shitloads of grass everywhere. Why can't you just get them horses, put them in our garden, and they eat that grass? That saves the farmer all the time, doing all the hay, you know, spending money, spending time, doing all that. Then that person that owns them horses has to go to work to buy money to buy that off the farmer. Yet my mum has to pay for petrol to go in that lawnmower to cut that grass, spend that time cutting that grass. Yet if everyone got on in that area, oh, you know, I've got some grass in my garden, I've got quite a big garden, actually save me cutting the grass. Why don't you bring your horses over and put them in there and they can eat that grass? That saves money and time on the farmer doing hay. And then that saves my mum time and money cutting the grass and doing the lawnmower and hurting the earth. Yet you just get the horses and the animals to come and eat out people's gardens and do things like that. Why can't they do that? Oh, because people don't get along, because money is ownership and greed and a separation. You know, I said that to her before I left. She couldn't handle it. She couldn't deal with intaking it from me. Oh, that's not how it works. I said, well, how is things to work? Because, you know, you carry on going earning money. You carry on going earning money. You lot carry on going giving your energy to the money, to the black magic, to this functioning system. That is not for us. That is not for our survival at all. You keep doing that. And you see where we end up soon, because actually me giving out this message, which people may find a bit threatening, they may find it upsetting, but this is the only way I'm going to crack through this consciousness, this programming that's been set up here. Because, yes, it may seem that threatening, it may seem like this, but it makes you think. It makes you think. And, you know, you change your ways, because I changed my way. I've been sober for 3 years now, I've been stricter than vegan, I've been trying to help the earth when things were shut up shit creek. I was ready to go and live in the woods. I've stood up to these people. I'm out of the black magic. Don't use the money. How do I survive? I trade. How do I trade? So I go and paint. You know, when I was selling money, paintings for money when I was younger, there were people that, like, money is like a luxury for art. It's like they have to have it extra, you know, not survival. This is a luxury to people, even though this is everything. And this is priceless, you know, and this is why I stopped selling it for money. But people will give me paint or give me stuff that I like, and then I'll give them this, which is my energy. My time and emotion is priceless. You know, when I worked in Covent Garden, I had people trying to buy my art there, and I said no, because I didn't like them, because I don't want to give it to someone to put in their big house, to put on the wall, that hardly anyone sees it. I want it to be in public spaces where people can enjoy it. That's why I worked in bars in London my whole life. That's why I put this up for free in there. I had people offer me thousands for pieces that I told them no. They stand there and go, oh, do you know who I am, blah, blah. I said, I don't care who you are. This is my time and emotion. This is my energy. It's mine. Yeah? I want to share it with everyone else. I don't want a rich person to go stick it in their house and hide it, just to say, oh, I own this because I own money. You know, people bought into rich families that just get given money. They don't understand it either, and then the money stays within the families, and then these kids just, you know, get brought up into this way, and then that fractures out, and then, you know, you can see how it all just grows and grows and grows off of each other. So we need to start looking at other ways of decoding these frequencies, because we need to look at this realm and look at where the energies are stored, where there's loads of energy stored. Sex is a huge one. There's a lady called Sasha Cobra I met on Instagram who was actually working with the orgasm energy on women, and she was just having them laying down and going like this, basically bringing them to have an orgasm by just interacting with their hormone field. So let's talk about hormone fields, because this also links back to money in the black magic system there, because everything is interlinked, but money is a huge one because everyone touches it, everyone has it in their hands, right? So now I want to talk to you about hormones quickly, because I've been talking for ages about the auric field. And women actually have double X chromosome, which is magnetic. If you look at Dan Winter's stuff, he's talking about how emotions tune the DNA, blah, 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 and he talks about the magnetic X. Women have 2X chromosomes, or just about 2X chromosomes. Men have XO, or they can have XY, or YY. Quite a lot of YY. Not all of them have X, and not. Women are more magnetic. Yeah, that's how we're producing babies and things like that, because it's all on the magnetic field. Now, all this started basically was over hormones with me, going to the doctors when the mental health tried to take me away from this house where I am now. And I've been dealing with shit since I've been here. Yes, we're trying to wake people up here because of the amount of people that actually live here involved with all this stuff. Do you understand? Because not many people have coronavirus here, and a few other places where you find these people live. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? So, hormone fields, social distancing. Because I've refused the hormones many times at the doctors, and that is when the mental health came to me at 8 AM the next day when I was looking at their hormones. I know many people that have had men with prostate cancer that have turned down hormones. I know some that have taken them, and they're more sick. They've tried to give me hormones since I was younger. I'm gay. I don't really have sex with men, so I don't need your hormones. Oh yes, you need them for this, for... So I took them for a bit because my periods and my endometriosis was so severe that I took the hormones. I had a marina coil put in me that actually, and bearing in mind, all of the gynecologists are Indian doctors. The lady that called the mental health for me that I let go at the hospital about my hormones and about the state of my endometriosis and my diet, and that they wasn't helping me and they was making it worse. Her eyes were vibrating funny. The next day, 8 AM, someone else with their eyes vibrating funny comes to the door. And because I say no and I stand in my own free will and I refuse to go to doctors and I refuse to go to the hospital and I refuse to use money and I refuse to be a part of this system, but I still stay with my friends and I'll live off my trade, that they attack me now. But I eat the frequency because you learn to eat it. Because any energy they throw at me, I eat it and I spit it out, and they don't like that. So now they leave me alone. But I am only of the one majority right now because I don't use money and I don't chase money and I don't like it. I respect it as an art form and I like the colour of it. So hormones, because I refused the hormones. I came off the codeine because it was separating me from my auric field. I've been in severe pain, it's sending me into my field again when I have my endo. So there's something going on with this. Now when you have 3 women, or like, because I live with my mum and my sister, I've lived in houses with women, they start to sync up on their periods. And I was talking to Simon about this, because Simon's actually studied hormones. He actually he studied science at college, and he studied germs and hormones and viruses and how they actually all work. He understands them. So he tells me all the ins and outs about all the chromosomes, and this is how I know a lot of this stuff, because he's very knowledgeable about this stuff. And he has been saying to me for ages about my endo, it's all linked with the hormones. Because, you know, even the fish you're eating, even the meat you're eating, them animals are fed the hormones, so their emotions are all haywire. And you're consuming that frequency. You know, it's in the water, it's it's in the music, it's everywhere, the way it affects our hormonal field. So when women live together and they come on their periods at the same time, and bearing in mind women used to come on their periods at the same time with the full moon, they used to have their periods together. Now look at how women have their periods all over the place. My body is trying to literally heal itself constantly all the time, because when women live together and they come on their periods at the same time, do you know how that's working? It's because when you're around them, the hormonal fields are spreading information. So my field of hormones is going and mixing with another female, and because you're living together, you're constantly seeing each other, it's constantly swapping data, and you're subconsciously syncing up. That's a hormone field. So I've been alone pretty much for about 3 years now, really, or going out to animals. Like, I've been to the supermarket a couple of times with my mum, and I've been to a few locations busy, but then I've had to sit on my own for 3 days or whatever to clear my field again, because this works the same. Now picture this, because this will blow your fucking mind. Because if I walk out into the street now and there's loads of women on the street that are on the pill, and I walk down that street, my hormone field is going to interact with all of them. Now you look at hospitality, now you look at shopping, now you look at malls, now you look at all these places and you compare it to the hormone field and how it transfers information and how many women are on the pill. All these things. I had to get the marina core emergency removed out of me. It was so severe, and the nurse told the Indian gynaecologist that I shouldn't have it in because I was too young and I was so small and I hadn't had a baby. And he said, no, she needs it in, and they fitted it in me, and 33 days later I kept bleeding and they had to take it out, and it was really sore because my body rejected the hormones in it, which it always has. You know, and this is why I'm in pain, because it's rejecting stuff from the meat, from this, that, you know, and when I am on my own for long periods of time, or like when I go out to see my horses, see my animals, because they're connected to the earth and they don't have the same programming, they don't have the same emotions, the same stress, the same hormonal energy coming out of them. Which a lot of it is linked to money, actually, with like humans and stuff, the stress, the things like that. Do you see what I mean? So if I've got a banknote, if I'm behind a bar, or like, let me go back to what I said. Horses and animals will clear the field because they're connected to the earth. So like, say my mum will go out, do shopping, do work. She doesn't go to busy places either. She just craft and that, but she'll come back and I'll clear her field, or I'll give her a rake and she'll go see the horses or the animals. That'll recorrect her field, then she comes back. Do you see what I mean? So like, where I've been on my own, I've kept my field clean. So when people come and see me, I can correct their field, put them back out. And this is how it works. So if we're looking at cities and things like that, the energy transfer, the hormonal energy, you know, the social distancing, I think is linked with energy transfer, the hormone fields. Like when they're giving people the vaccines, it's affecting their fields. Like when they said they were giving something to someone, oh, you can go anywhere in the country now. It's because if you go in the same place as that person will infiltrate your information, and it can slowly eat away, is what I'm saying. So we need to start like looking at this auric field, and it's being trapped by the currency. The waters are being trapped by the currency of money. So we need to get rid of that frequency and learn how we're going to trade. So we need to look at the communications, change the communications, because all the energy is vibrating behind them. They're like old structures, so we need to collapse them and then put new energy into new structures and drain the energy out of these places and then fill them into these structures, because you know the earth has all this energy in it. So we've got to look at the compartments of where it's stuck and then unfiddle that. You know, like I said, if I burnt money now, everyone watching would be, oh, why have you got that attachment to a bit of plastic? Because I don't. Do you know what I mean? It's like worthless. But yeah, I have attachment to all of this. To all of this. You know, so here's another example. This paint palette, I use the same colour, the same colours. Every time I start a painting, I have this, and then I create this. If you look at a crystal, this has this inside it, colours inside this. So picture this being a palette of paint. So this is a crystal, because this has this inside. So if I put this to my mind's eye and I'm visualising that, say this is a crystal, and then it creates this, because colours, put the colours together, create dimensions, create worlds. Colour can cool down colour, is made out of colour, fields are made out of colour, this is made out of colour. So you want to bounce the energy into here from higher from higher places, and then you want to shine it out through this, because this can create this, because this is full of this. So I'm acting like a crystal in a way, because I'm using all the colours to create this. So this is the same living being. This is the same living being. And this is way more advanced than plastic, is all I'm going to say right now. Paint all over me now. Anyways, I'm up. Gonna get some yew trees now that I found and move them around. But yeah, more comments soon. A lot of love.